32 years ago today, Mount St. Helens erupted, taking nearly 60 lives and changing countless others, including our own Mike Donahue's. Tonight, the end of an era begins as Mike counts down to the end of his career, starting with the biggest story of his life. Welcome, everyone, to KOIN Local 6 at 6 o'clock. I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Kelly Day. It is a big moment here in local television history. In just 13 days, Mike Donahue will end his 44-year career, and all of it was here at KOIN.
Now, few covered the Mount St. Helens eruption quite like Mike, so it's fitting that we begin our look at Mike's milestones on this historic day. Mike?
Jeff and Kelly, I'm sure this is true of you too. On the anniversaries of JFK's assassination, the landing on the moon, and 9/11, people can tell you where they were. The 1980 eruption is of that importance to people in the Northwest. We saw in our lifetime what modern humans had never seen before. At 8:32 that Sunday morning came the realization that we are not in charge here.
I looked up there and I thought I was going to see 25 on the Richter scale. I was scared. I was nervous.
Any way you look at it, the eruption of 1980 was the biggest thing that's happened here in over 2 centuries. A force of 100 atomic bombs blew a cubic mile of mountain 15 miles high and all the way around the world. A lateral blast traveling 300 miles an hour flattened enough trees to build 300,000 homes. A cloud of 1,000-degree ash sucked the life out of everything in its path. In Spokane and Yakima, it was midnight at noon.
We just came here to get a vacation and get some fresh air, but we came here at the wrong time.
The story was so big, the president had to see it to believe it. I was with the White House press corps as our helicopter followed his into the blast zone.
It impressed me.
Veteran journalists, like kids in a toy store window, pushing and shoving for a view.
Oh, that's some hot ground, boy. You know it.
The president said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen.
It is literally indescribable, and it's a devastation.
Of the 57 who died, 2 will forever live in my memory. 30-year-old David Johnston, a USGS scientist who was on duty just 6 miles from the bulging north side.
On May 18th, when geologist David Johnson radioed, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it," he was standing on that observation point up there. Moments later, he was buried beneath it.
Today, an observatory sits on Johnston Ridge, explaining to new generations what happened here.
That's my life. Spirit Lake and Mount St. Helens is my life.
An earthquake had thrown Harry Truman out of his bed, yet he turned away sheriff's deputies who flew to the lodge to rescue him. That's the last time we saw Harry. He had already foreseen his end.
Folks, I've lived there 50 years. It's a part of me. That mountain and that lake is a part of Truman, and I'm a part of it.
3 decades later, what had been formless and empty was a Garden of Eden. Along the Hummock Trail, I saw the colors that nature had painted on an empty canvas.
Each one of these seeds, each one of these trees arrived by the wind.
The eruption formed new ponds and filled them with life. This quiet creation, to me, made the loudest statement. On October 1st, 2004, after an 18-year nap, the volcano was awakened by a swarm of earthquakes.
I mean, this could simply be St. Helens' attempt at telling us, hey, I'm still a live volcano, don't write me off.
It wasn't another big one, but big enough to create a memory for a new generation.
It's the best thing probably I've ever seen as far as geology and life going on.
The eruption of Mount St. Helens is a new story without an ending, and why we can say, with Harry Truman, that mountain is a part of us. One day I'll not forget, our helicopter flew in and landed in the crater, and as soon as I stepped outside, all of my senses were aroused. I could hear rock slides and boulders the size of cars coming down the walls of